shared this amazing story of hope, of how through his life, he had just been through so many different things as an infant, and then as a adolescent, and even into his high school, and just on, and how through each of those things, his parents supported him and never regretted the decision of choosing life. And he was able to just, I mean, it was just such an amazing night, because you would turn to the person next to you and it was like they were either laughing or crying, and just true heart from him. And we also had a sweet story of a family that, you know, had some indecision of what they knew as truth for what their expectant baby was. And so they were just a little unsure as to what medically was taking place. And so through the resources at New Life and through the medical staff at New Life, we encouraged them to get a second opinion. And so they got a second opinion on their baby that was to be born, and decided to carry their baby. And as you saw, they came across the stage with a healthy baby boy, and just it really speaks to the staff and the support system at New Life Pregnancy Center, whether it's the one-on-one counseling or it's the true medical conversations that are happening.
Welcome back to Season 2 of the 217 podcast, presented by Decatur Earth Mover Credit Union and hosted by me, Jess Younghouse. Thanks for listening and thanks for watching. We hope you enjoy it. Welcome back to the 217 podcast. Today we have Jill Sams joining us from New Life Pregnancy Center. Welcome, Jill. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you so much.
Let's start by hearing a little bit about where you're from. If you're from Decatur, if you're not from Decatur, what brought you here or what brought you back if you left? Just a little bit of history about yourself.
Yeah. So I have been in Decatur my whole life.
Okay.
And oddly enough, my mom worked at Millikan University, and so I ended up going to Millikan. I grew up really on the east side of Decatur, over by the airport, and so went to Michael E. Baum Elementary School, then transitioned to Thomas Jefferson, went to Eisenhower High School, which it looks a lot nicer now than when I went there.
I know.
So it wasn't quite as nice when I was there, but had great experiences there, and then went on to Millikan and got my marketing degree there at Millikan. And then I did pharmaceutical sales with Eli Lilly for 15 years after that. So it was still within the community, but did a lot of travel. I lived in the Jacksonville area for a short time. But then after getting married, came back, and now I'm in the sort of Decatur, Mount Zion area.
Sure. Okay. Yeah. Is pharmaceutical sales like what it's like in movies and shows that are out now about, like, is it really like that?
Yeah, it's a great question. No, I mean, not in the sense of the movies and things that we're seeing now.
Yeah.
You know, it's interesting because it's transitioned a lot, right?
Yeah.
Just healthcare in general.
Right.
And anybody in healthcare has, you know, would make a comment about how much it's transitioned, not just since COVID, but just lots of things changing. And so it's not as glamorous as it once was. At one time, you know, it was amazing. And just how the relationships between pharmaceutical representatives and, you know, medical doctors were, it's just a lot different now.
Yeah.
And so I enjoyed that time in my life and enjoyed that career and have always been pretty business minded, but knew that just a little later on in life that it was time for me to do something a little bit different. Yeah.
So, okay, New Life. How long have you been at New Life?
I've been at New Life just a little over a year.
Okay. And what is your role there?
My title is Community Engagement Manager.
Okay.
So I love what I do. So I get to really interact with the community. So I work with church liaisons that partner with New Life, of local churches that partner with New Life. Okay. I get to work with different community organizations that want to learn more about New Life, or the organizations that we partner with together, and really just assist the executive director with other things within the community that she needs support with.
Sure. So how long has New Life been in the Decatur area?
New Life has been open since 1986.
Okay.
So they have served the men and women and children of Decatur area for a really long time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's quite a history.
Yes.
So what are some of the I mean, all of the services, the most important services, what are the services that New Life offers?
Yeah. So really there's a number of different things, but the goal is to really, when a man, woman, child, family finds themselves in a situation with an unexpected pregnancy, New Life really comes around them and supports them through this time. So whether that be on like the medical side of, we have some limited ultrasounds, we have a registered nurse on staff where they can come in and get some medical advice and just support them and help them make an informed decision about what's next for them and their family. We also do an amazing educational program. It's called the BEST program, where families, a mother, and a caregiver can come in to New Life. They can take classes, educational training. They can do one-on-one consultations. And what they do is then they earn care points, cash, care points, these virtual points, where they can then provide for the physical needs of their families or children. So we have a blessings boutique. So for instance, let's say a mother comes in and she takes a class on parenting, or she takes a class on infant safety, or there's a number of different things that they offer. They can come in, get care points for that class, and then go shop in the beautiful boutique. Yeah, which is really neat.
That's nice.
And really the mind frame of that is we're educating them, helping them to grow, become independent, learn, educate themselves a little bit more, and then also meeting the physical need of clothing, diapers, shoes, whatever they may need for their either expectant baby or current baby.
Cool.
Yeah.
So I guess maybe to back up a little bit before, what services does New Life offer, but what's really the mission of New Life Pregnancy?
Sure. The goal really is, and I may be redundant in saying this, but the goal is to ensure that we help families become healthy and independent.
Okay.
So we want when mothers come and they find themselves with an unexpected pregnancy, we want to surround them, support them, and help them to make the best decision for them and their family.
Okay. What other services?
Well, we currently have, outside of the walls of New Life, which is amazing, a thrift store.
Okay.
And so at the thrift store, we have items that are donated, cleaned up, restored, and people can come and shop. So the local people in the community can come out, shop at the thrift store. And that's a source of revenue then for New Life Pregnancy Center, being that we're non-for-profit, a 501c3 non-for-profit, and we are 100% donations.
Okay.
So local churches, community organizations, donors. The thrift store is not only a source of revenue for New Life, but also then some of our clients that come in through the doors of New Life are also taught how to hold a job maybe for the first time. So they can come over to the thrift store. We have amazing staff over there that teach them work etiquette, discipline, how to really be a good employee, and then get them some experience for some of them that may not have had a job before. Get them a little bit of experience, get them a resume, some references on there to then be able to get a job that's more suitable for them.
That's a great program.
And hopefully off of government assistance as well.
Right.
You know, as that arises.
Yeah. So talk a little bit more about funding, where the thrift shop, you said donors. What are the means that you go seek funding for New Life? Yeah.
So we have two main events throughout the year. We have our banquet, which normally is in mid-September, and where just an amazing event where 700 to 800 people come together, and we bring in a speaker, whether local or a national speaker, to come in and speak. And that's a huge fundraising event for us. And then in addition to that, we do an auction, normally in April, mid-April, and we do a live auction, a silent auction. That's just a fun evening where people can come together, have a great time, and raise a revenue for New Life as well. There.
So the banquet, I do want to talk about that a little bit. I attended this year for the first time. I had never been before. Tell me the theme of the event. Is it always the stories we tell, or was that just this year's
Yeah.
theme.
Yeah, we always call it Banquet for Life, but it has a new theme every year. So this year was called Stories to be Told.
Yeah, Stories to be Told. Okay,
Yeah.
okay. So will you recap like some of the stories that were told at the banquet? Because they're just so, I mean.
They're so powerful.
They are powerful.
Yeah, just really amazing stories. We had a couple specific stories. We had Dave McCroskey come this year, and he shared his story of just through humor and just so much heart. He shared this amazing story of hope, of how through his life, he had just been through so many different things as an infant, and then as a adolescent, and even into his high school, and just on, and how through each of those things, his parents supported him and never regretted the decision of choosing life. And he was able to it was just such an amazing night, because you would turn to the person next to you and it was like they were either laughing or crying, and just true heart from him. And we also had a sweet story of a family that, had some indecision of what they knew as truth for what their expectant baby was. And so they were just a little unsure as to what medically was taking place. And so through the resources at New Life and through the medical staff at New Life, we encouraged them to get a second opinion. And so they got a second opinion on their baby that was to be born, and decided to carry their baby. And as you saw, they came across the stage with a healthy baby boy, and just it really speaks to the staff and the support system at New Life Pregnancy Center, whether it's the one-on-one counseling or it's the true medical conversations that are happening to ensure that these mothers are informed in the best way possible.
What are some of the reasons why expectant mothers or families come to New Life?
That's a great question. And it really speaks to sort of the theme of our banquet this last year, just the different stories. And I've only been with New Life for a year, but every situation is a little bit different. I'm embarrassed to say that when I came to join New Life, I had this idea in my head of what maybe the typical client would look like or seem like. And really it's all different situations. It may be a family that finds themselves, expecting a third or fourth child and thinking we may not be able to financially afford this situation. And New Life comes around them and they say, hey, we can help you. We can educate you. We can support you. And then, like I mentioned, physically help you with these physical needs as well. It may be a sweet girl that's found herself in high school that made a poor decision one night, and then finds herself in a situation that she never dreamed that she would, or a mom that is, graduating from college and getting ready to start a career, and again finds herself in just a situation where she's not really sure exactly what to do, whether that be financial, emotional. There are just so many different reasons that they really walk through the doors. And we know that sometimes mothers find themselves in situations that are beyond their control. They may have been kicked out because they find themselves unexpectedly pregnant, or they may, their significant other may not have wanted a child. And so they find themselves in these situations. Thankfully, we also have the Hope House.
Okay.
And it is another avenue where we can support mothers that really just don't have the stability at this point, find themselves expecting. We prefer that they come to the Hope House expecting really before they have their baby, so that we can work with them and get them prepared for the baby to come. And they can come in the Hope House. It's a beautiful home, and really go through an individualized plan with our house. We call her sort of a house mom.
Okay.
And they can work on an individualized plan that works for them to get them stable, to get them healthy again, to get them in a safe environment where they can bring their baby back to this home after they have the baby at the hospital, and grow and sort of develop as a family as a whole.
How long has Hope House been around?
That's a great question. I think a few years.
I feel like it's been a couple. Well,
Maybe.
it was before COVID, wasn't it?
I think it was.
I think it
may
too.
have been right before COVID.
Yeah.
So just a couple of years.
Yeah.
A couple years now. We can fit 4 mothers and 4 babies in the house.
Okay.
They have to be 18 years or older.
Okay.
So, like I said, there's someone in the home that stays with them and supports them. And the goal is really to teach them, let's make what are good, healthy meals that we can, you can make for your family. How do we budget? How do we make a finances stretch to get what we need? If they don't drive, what public transportation is available in the Decatur area?
Sure.
Again, continuing to educate them, grow them, develop them to be able to be stable and independent.
How long do expectant mothers and then subsequently mothers stay in the Hope House typically?
Sure. We hope after a year
that
they find themselves at a place where they can be independent and have developed in that way.
Okay.
I don't know that they've ever kicked anybody out at this point, but that's really the goal.
Okay. And how does something like Hope House differ from, there's women and children shelters out there now, I think for maybe various reasons. How does Hope House differ from those, would you say?
Sure. There's, we have specific guidelines and rules that we ask the girls to abide by. I don't know the exact stipulations for some of the other agencies in town. We do like for it just to be the mother and their newborn. So if they have additional children, it's something that we probably have to talk about or figure out. So that may be one difference. The other thing is at New Life, we love to partner with local agencies and the other organizations. I honestly had no idea of all of the resources that are in the community. I truly did not. I mean, I knew a couple of the big ones that, we all may hear about but when I came to work with New Life, I just, whether it's Baby Talk or there are just all of the other support systems where we have a place to go if we have someone that has this need, or there's so many local agencies here in Decatur that we love to partner with.
Sure. So you mentioned Baby Talk. How do you guys maybe support one another, or how does Baby Talk support you? And then what are some other organizations that you're currently partnering with?
Yeah. So with Baby Talk, we have a representative normally from Baby Talk come, and sometimes when our mothers are in classes, they will do a Baby Talk session with moms, some of the moms and the babies. So they'll go down in the area, the children's area at New Life, and they'll do a Baby Talk session for us there at New Life. Which is a great resource, right? Because it's showing our mothers how to interact with their child, how to read to the child, how to develop their, motor skills and all of those important things that they may not be informed about.
Sure.
We have also talked with the YMCA and having an avenue where some of our mothers can come and have some time where they can walk or they can take care of themselves physically, and they have been open to some of those conversations, which is amazing. I'm trying to think of some others off the top of my head. I'm aloof to some of the other things that we partner with.
Okay. What would you say are, if there's multiple or just maybe one big one, what's a misconception about New Life Pregnancy Center? Do you think that people maybe don't know or are maybe just a little bit misinformed about?
Well, I'm probably a good person to ask that question too, just because being new in there.
Yeah.
I've been in Decatur my whole life, right? So I always passed New Life Pregnancy Center. A matter of fact, when I was, and I don't know, I mean, I'm a little bit older than you, but when I was in school, Penny, the current executive director, came in our classroom and did the sex talk, right? You know? And so in my mind, even when I went to work for them or partner with them, I thought, I know, it's just for the moms that find themselves unexpectedly pregnant, right? And then I got in there and I was blown away by all that they do. And if I could do one thing today, it's to communicate to the community all that is offered there.
Yeah.
So when you think of just the family as a whole, whether it be a husband or a partner or, just a baby's father even, we have a gentleman there in New Life that will sit down with the fathers and have conversations with the fathers about, what to expect and what to do and how to be a good dad. We have men that come through that go, I don't know what I'm doing, and I just need someone to help me or counsel me or give me some advice. And we have post-abortive care. So we have Megan Rhodes is an amazing resource to this community where she will sit down one-on-one with mothers that have been through an abortion that need support and want to talk through those things and she has a full sort of class curriculum that she walks through with these mothers. And we have miscarriage counseling where if someone has miscarried a baby or atopic pregnancy, all of those things where we have counselors that do one-on-one sessions that just love on those people and talk through those situations. And so I think that is probably the first thing that comes to mind is just the vast variety of what they do in there. It's not just the medical conversations around an unexpected pregnancy. It is really coming around families as a whole and supporting them in whatever stage they are of life.
What would you say, I mean, as someone that works at New Life, how do you feel like New Life approaches women or new mothers who are potentially in this very shame-filled situation that they're in? A lot of times when you talk about unexpected pregnancy, shame comes along with it. For whatever reason they might feel like that. How does New Life really come alongside in that manner?
Yeah, it's probably one of the most important things that we do. And it was one of the key things that our executive director, Penny Weaver, will say when she meets with really most anybody, even with me, when we have conversations. She says, one of the most important things for me is that they know they're coming into a non-judgmental space. And I love that about her. And you feel that the second you walk into the building. And that's the goal of all the employees is we know every situation is different. And the amount of grace that is extended to just to have that non-judgmental, informed, educated decision and support them in that way. It really is a game changer for mothers in having those initial conversations.
New Life Pregnancy gets their funding from donors and things like that, total nonprofit organization. We've touched on that already. But what are... do you guys rely on volunteers to make some of your programs happen? Tell me a little bit about what that's like and how people can get involved.
Yes, absolutely. Our volunteer base is vast and it's amazing. Just if you've been to any event that New Life has put on or hosted, you see it's just like a little sea of worker bees. It's amazing. And the volunteer base is what really the core of what New Life does and keeps the doors open and all of those things. I had mentioned that we have different classes that we offer to parents, men, women, children, whatever that may be. And most of those, almost all of those are volunteer based. So maybe someone comes in and talks about swim safety or someone comes through and talks about, marriage or, those people are all volunteer for us and really a major resource to these parents or caregivers that are sitting in on the class to keep them educated, keep them up to date with what's most important for their infants or their babies. In addition to that, we have childcare that we provide for the parents while they're in the classes, right? So a nursery type of a setting, if you will. So those people are all volunteer. We host a volunteer Christmas dinner every December and during the Christmas season, and there are hundreds of people that just file in that have had a small portion. Maybe they drive a bus, to pick up clients and bring them into New Life or all of those things, but so many different things and so many different volunteer opportunities too, whether that be in the thrift store, sorting clothes or helping in the Blessing Boutique. There are lots of opportunities always to partner with New Life.
What's the best way that how does somebody in a volunteer capacity reach out to New Life? What's the best way to get themselves involved?
Yeah, probably just calling into New Life and talking to them in there. They've got a little list of opportunities that are open now that where we could use a helping hand and they can really see what you like to do, what that person specifically is either gifted in or enjoys doing, and then placing them in a role that may fit them within the walls. Yeah.
Cool. What's one thing you're particularly proud of to work at New Life? Like, what's something you like telling people about New Life?
Yeah. It was a transition for me. So like I said, I did pharma for 15 years. And so with a bigger pharmaceutical company. And so going from corporate America to nonprofit, the transition was crazy for me, to say the least. I mean, I don't even really have the best verbiage to explain. When I left my career, I wasn't exactly sure if I was going to transition into something else. I really had thought I would stay home with my kids and raise them and do some of that. And when Penny and I connected, she had mentioned that this position was something that I could do and a way to partner with New Life and still have some of that time with my children. So I didn't have to forego that. And when I walked into New Life, just coming from corporate America, it was just a breath of fresh air. I mean, everything that they do is truly to support these men and women and children, and just like we mentioned, in a non-judgmental way, support them and help them to raise stable and healthy families. And that was just refreshing to me, coming from the business world, and I love that. But one of the things that sticks out to me the most is, now my memory will fail me, but I thought I was at Kroger here locally. It may have been, I think it was Kroger. And I'm going through and I was picking up some things for an event for New Life. And the lady that was checking me out, she said, "Oh, do you work for New Life?" And I said, "I do." And she said, "I love New Life." And I said, "Really?" And she said, "Yeah." She said, "Years ago, I found myself expecting, and I could not have raised my son without the support of New Life." And I just loved hearing that. I think she went on to say he was like 15, 16, something like that. So it had been years. And just to think that she still thinks 15, 16 years later about the fact that, she felt like she would not have been able to make it through without New Life. It really made an impression on me. I mean, it really made me think like, this is lifelong things. This is lifelong impact that these people are making at New Life Pregnancy Center. And I just was proud to be a part of that.
How good does that feel?
It feels
work
so
at
good.
Some place where you can hear real stories that have impacted people.
Absolutely.
From however long
it
ago.
literally is not the only one. I mean, there's been many times when, I have been out somewhere or interacted with someone or crossed paths with, a mutual person, and they tell me about their experience at New Life, regardless of what that looked like, whether it was maybe just a parenting class or it was an unexpected pregnancy. It wasn't just maybe a pregnancy decision. It was, I needed diapers for a while to help me keep my baby with what they need, or I needed an educational class, or I miscarried a baby and I needed some support. And so it's those type of things. I also think of a family that really came back together after the abortion, went through the abortion counseling, a grown family, a grown woman and her grown children that, had just held on to some things. And after going through that abortion counseling with Megan Rhodes and talking about those things, and they realized that their mother, needed to let some things go, and just, they had a beautiful service where they had some time remembering the little one, and just all of those stories are what you just think, you just love to be a part of.
Yeah. Can people donate? Do you guys take items like baby items? Can people donate?
We do.
Kind of along the lines of volunteering. What types of things like that can people bring and bless New Life with?
Absolutely. So we take lots of donations, anything used, gently used, and new items as well. The Blessing Boutique takes more baby items, right? So I think that in there they'll take up to maybe 40, something like that. But we always get it where it needs to go. So we'll take any of it, because the other sizes sort of transition over to the thrift store. But in the Blessing Boutique, they have all kinds of items. So literally from car seats to strollers to diapers to
think baby registry,
any of that. Yes. And then we have the thrift store as well that takes donations. So additional family things. And we've just recently opened the New Life Boutique and Bridal. So it's sort of the next step up from the thrift store. So it has bridal gowns and nice dresses, shoes, accessories, bridesmaids dresses, prom and homecoming things as well. So
cool.
Yeah. So we take all kinds of different things. We will take it all.
How can people give to New Life?
Monetarily or... Yeah, I mean, I don't know the answer to that. I really, truly don't. I mean, I'm assuming they would
just call.
You could call. Yeah. Most of the time people will just call in. We take, during our time of our banquet, we have different ways that people can contribute monetarily. So they can give a one-time gift. They're welcome to donate on a monthly basis, which is amazing for us. But they can just call in and talk to our business manager there, and he can have a good conversation with what works for them financially and how they'd love to bless and support New Life.
Is filling baby bottles with change a thing still?
Yeah. So we still do the baby bottles. We do that twice a year. We do it Mother's Day to Father's Day. And then we do January to March as well. So we some of the local businesses and then local churches take baby bottles, and they can take them home, fill them with change, a check, whatever is best for them. And then we collect those back, and it's a great fundraiser for us as well.
My kid, that's like a kid. My kids really like filling baby bottles. They're like, can we get 5?
I love that.
I'm like, why don't we start with
let's
one?
Start with one.
Let's go one, see what we can do.
I love that. I love that.
Okay, very good. What else? Anything else about New Life we need to talk about?
No, I mean, I can't, there's nothing else that I can really think of that. Was there anything that you thought of that like I should have said more about?
I don't think so. I think we covered.
The classes made sense?
Yeah. I think we got it covered.
Okay.
I think that's a good glimpse into what New Life does.
Yeah.
Well, that's all we have for today. Jill, thank you so much for joining the 217 podcast and telling us a little bit about yourself, but also the impact that New Life Pregnancy has here in the Decatur area.
Yeah. Thanks so much for having me. I appreciate it.
Yep. There we go. Make sure to like and follow Decatur Earth Mover Credit Union on our social channels for more content.